follow the clues left behind by successful people. If they've all been done it and they've all saying the same thing, that you need to do these uncomfortable activities, then control your thoughts, control your words, and put your head down and tell yourself, I'm gonna march forward. I'm gonna force myself to stay positive as I march across the coals, through the fear zone, through the learning zone, until I arrive in the growth zone. How we can alter our natural mindset. And we've talked about the Gandhi circle and how our thoughts then form our words, which then form our behavior. And we have to really watch our thoughts, because if they turn into words, they're in all likelihood going to change our behavior. Whatever we say, we have to back up, right? And then we create bad habits if they're negative, and then and that can alter our character, which gives us worse thoughts. So as we do that, oftentimes when we go from thoughts to words and behavior, it's because our emotions get outside the lines. So we got to keep our emotions inside the lines to stay professional, to create some sort of filter, so we don't start going down that slippery Gandhi circle spiral through negativity, anger, blaming, justifying, complaining, things like that. So we keep our emotions stable so that we can actually purposefully change the way we think, because we know the way we think controls our actions and our future and our success. It's important to stay positive, to stay on task about everything we're doing, because that will dictate our actions. If we're thinking negative, we're going to act negative and we're going to get negative results. That just is what it is. So if we have these goals to change our current business, right? Because I think most people would say, I want to change my business. I want to go from where I am right now to there. And we almost want two things always, right? We always want more income and or more personal life balance. So we always want more money and more time back, right? I don't think anybody doesn't want that. Like, I'd like more money and I'd like to work less so I can have more time to the things I want to do, my family, hobbies, whatever. And I think that if you don't have that as your business plan, then you've got a bad business model. If you just say, I want more money, but you have to work harder to get it and take more time working, sooner or later that business model is going to break down, because you're going to run out of time and you're going to burn out. So you better have some sort of plan in place. And that's, quite frankly, that's when most of the ICC coaching clients come to us, right? Is we coach a lot of the top producing teams and agents and broker manager owners across the country. So, and we coach new agents too that just want more money at that point. That is true. We do coach a lot of those. We're perfectly capable of that, but we've become known for coaching the top of the top. And typically they're the least, I mean, they'd always like more money, but they're calling us because they need more time. They need more structure. They need to know how they can get to that place. And that's what we've become known for. And then we're coaching them how to instill these mindsets and motivational strategies in how to train their people as well too. So with that being said, motivating agents and training motivation involves everything about mind control. Okay. So if we want to go from here in our business, whether we're the leader or the follower, the brand new agent, and we want to go to this place up here, and this place up here actually get you 3 times as much income and 10 more hours free a week. How do we get there? Okay. I wish it was just a straight, easy upward path. I really do. I wish it was, but it's not. And you'll find that most good things are not easy. If something comes really easy or natural to you, it's probably not worth as much as you think. Just remember that, right? It's kind of like what your parents said to you when you were a kid. Well, I know the medicine tastes bad. That's what makes it work. If the medicine, nowadays they have Splenda though, so you can't really say that anymore. Like they have, but back in the day, they didn't have these good, they had nasty artificial sweeteners with like saccharin and stuff like that, that just made the medicine even worse. Now though, so anyway, I digress, but you get the point. The point of the matter is, If it's coming easy, it's probably not the right path. It should be hard, because for you to take yourself from here up to here with regard to the success of your business and life balance and income, it means you're gonna have to change a lot of things. That business up here is gonna have to look very different than your business is down here. That means you're gonna have to change all kinds of stuff. You're gonna have to change how much you spend on your business, the activities you do in the business. You're gonna have to change, you're gonna have to create lots of uncomfortable things. You're gonna have to probably increase your accountability. You probably will have to hire a coach. That costs money and time. You're probably gonna have to create profit and loss statements and spreadsheets and track your activities. You're gonna have to get very detailed and use a calendar. You're gonna have to implement systems. I mean, nothing I said is attractive. All of those words are awful words. Torture to most people. Systems, accountability, tracking, spending money, lead generation activities, none of that's fun. It's all stuff that's harmful. It's just painful. It's like walking across coals, and those things are the coals. You want to get across the coals, but walking across hot coals is painful. So how do we force ourselves to walk across hot coals to get to the treasure chest, let's say, filled with gold on the other side? How do we force ourselves to look past the pain to get to pleasure? Because that's what we're doing. Because we've got to force our mind. Our mind will instinctively operate with a very quick emotion, which is fear. And then, of course, we know what comes next on the Gandhi circle. Words, right? Words. That's what's going to pop out. Is we're going to say to ourselves, oh my goodness, I'm not going to walk across those coals. No way. I'm going to look to the person next to me and say, I am not walking across those coals. And the person next to you doesn't want to fight with you. So they're probably going to say, okay. And then you're going to turn away and walk away. And then you become a person that shies away from coals forever or any other challenge. And that changes who you are as a person. And now your thoughts about it, then to justify it, become denial type thoughts, right? You'll be, I'm never going to do anything I don't want to do. If it doesn't feel right to me, then it's not to be. If it's up to me, if it's not to be, it's up to me. And all these different sayings and quotes and basically quitter strategies, things that would make Yoda roll over in his grave. You know what I mean? Just terrible stuff. And that makes your words even worse and your behavior even worse. And we spiral down that Gandhi circle. We spiral, right? So that's what happens. Because we see that pain and our emotion speaks the fear. And then our fear becomes cemented by our behavior. And then we don't take risks. And next thing you know, I'm not a risk taker. I'm a very cautious person. I know that's my downfall. I'm always very, very shy and reserved. You actually will change who you are if you repeat that. And you'll be that person that never changed. You'll be that person that hates change. And that's hard to be a person that hates change when you're here and you want your business to go here. How are you going to do that without changing your freaking business? We're going to have to actually embrace pain. And see, naturally, all humans will shy away from pain much more quickly than they will move towards pleasure. We move towards pleasure cautiously. But like touching a hot stove or a hot pan on a hot stove, we'll jump away from pain in a hurry. So naturally, we're going to instinctively move away from pain. So we're going to have to force ourselves to move through that uncomfortable activity. Embrace pain, systems, accountability, all those other things, investing, lead generation, calendaring, scheduling, coaching, whatever. We're going to force ourselves to move through those uncomfortable, painful activities to get to the gold treasure, the reward, the business that's up here, on the other side of those hot coals. So what does that look like? Well, let me show you what it looks like. I refer to it as the comfort zone, right? This is where we start over here in the yellow, and we feel safe and in control. That's where we are right now. You know, if you're watching this, you're probably in slippers or flip-flops or barefoot or something, you know, just relaxing in your natural clothes. You're in your comfort zone. Nothing's changing, right? Nothing's changing. Then we got to move along this black line all the way to that business that I told you that we want to have. That's up in the corner. It's different than the current business we have. But we got to go through some hot coals to get there. That's this dark charcoal and light gray fear zone and learning zone. Appropriately, they are gray and charcoal like coals before we get to the green happy zone. Okay, so we're dead grass trying to get to nice green grass, but we got to walk over the hot coals to get there. Make sense? So you'll see that safe comfort zone where we are right now, which feels safe until we decide we want something more in our life or our career. Then we got to go through the fear that I told you about. It's where we lack self-confidence. We find lots of excuses out of our mouth, cement bad behaviors, listen to what other people say that try to bring you down because they don't want to go across the hot coals either. So we use them as an excuse, all that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff. So then we can either go back into our comfort zone and listen to our own excuses, like we talked about. We can go through that Gandhi circle and say some words that discourage us and agree with others' opinions. And then our behavior is to step away and say, I'm not going to do it. And then that's going to, of course, create new habits and terrible character traits down the road. Or we can force ourselves through the hot coals and then deal with it. Figure out how we can deal with the problems, how we can deal with paying for a coach, how we can deal and learn new skills like creating a calendar, hiring people, training, lead generating, how we can get over a lot of our uncomfortable activity, because that's the name of the game. We're going to get uncomfortable in all these areas that sound very painful and we're fearful of. And we're going to do them enough times through this learning zone from start to finish. We're going to do activities like spending money or lead generating activities or disciplining ourselves with our calendar or being held accountable, scheduling, time blocking, all of those unsexy things. We're going to do them enough times that the uncomfortable activities start to become comfortable because we're going to cement a new habit and take the Gandhi circle in the right direction. So it's a positive Gandhi circle, so that we're actually creating good habits that develop good character traits, that develop even better thoughts. So then we get into our green growth zone where we're actually living our dreams, finding purpose, seeing new opportunities, getting remotivated by our own new successes and accomplishments, where we actually set altogether new goals that we didn't even think were possible because we conquered our objectives that we had when we were way back here in the comfort zone. We learned how to walk across coals. So now we can see how to walk across other sets of coals, that we can actually control our mindsets, that we can break the spiral, break the pattern, and actually use the Gandhi circle to spiral up and ascend in our business, not always stay in the same place and use it for excuses. And that all starts with controlling what's up here. It all starts with controlling how you think, keeping your emotions in between the lines, not getting too high and too low, so that we control our thoughts, so we don't utter too many harmful words, so that doesn't purposely justify bad behavior that creates terrible habits, terrible character traits and defects, that create worse thoughts, that create worse emotions, that tends to always keep us grounded and stuck in our comfort zone so that we aren't afraid of pain, so that we are afraid of pain and we never are willing to get uncomfortable and develop new uncomfortable habits that ultimately become comfortable for us. So we don't learn how to conquer new things. We don't learn how to conquer new things because of it. So that's where I want us to do. I want us to learn to control that mind and start forcing ourselves to do what feels uncomfortable. Now, again, that doesn't mean go jump off a cliff because that feels uncomfortable, or go take, methamphetamines because that seems uncomfortable. I don't want you to do stupid stuff, right? But if it's been proven and tested and you've seen other successful people do it enough times, that's probably tested and proven, and you should put some faith in it. You know what I mean? Follow the clues left behind by successful people. If they've all been done it and they've all saying the same thing, that you need to do these uncomfortable activities, then control your thoughts, control your words, and put your head down and tell yourself, I'm gonna march forward. I'm gonna force myself to stay positive as I march across the coals, through the fear zone, through the learning zone, until I arrive in the growth zone. And if you just have that kind of faith, even though it's somewhat blind faith, it's faith, you will get there. Then you'll learn to keep doing it over and over again. And that's, people ask me, what is the difference? What do successful people do? And I tell them that's what they know how to do. They know how to keep getting uncomfortable and stay uncomfortable until those activities become comfortable. And then guess what? They quickly try to find ways to get uncomfortable again. And that's how people grow fast. You ask how they move quickly. It's because they keep forcing themselves to grow. That's different than just being learning based. There's people that'll learn all day long, but then don't do anything. Learning based is good too, but learning without implementation and staying with the implementation is useless learning. That's great in the bars or at a social gathering, but it's not really good for you or your family. So yeah, it's good to learn and it's good to implement, but what's keeping you implementing? Because you got to keep, you can learn something and start it and find out it's uncomfortable, step on the hot coal and back off. That happens all the time. The most important part is to keep doing it over and over again. So that means you got to step on the coals, keep stepping and keep going, and uncomfortable until all of a sudden, wait a minute, this is comfortable. I got this. Now we're in a good spot. Rest, collect yourself, figure out where you can go now, which is a lot more options, and then prepare to get uncomfortable again. If you want to grow with a rapid trajectory, you keep getting uncomfortable. You keep putting yourself in those positions on the path to get from here to here, and then to here, and then to here, and upwards and upwards and upwards. And that's how it works. Okay? Thanks, guys.